Welcome back to another episode of 7,000 Volts, Living an Electrified Life. Today's episode and topic, connections, creating connections. I'll be reading a scripture from Ephesians 4:29. Let not corrupt communication proceed out of thy mouth, but that which is good to use of edifying, that it may minister grace unto the hearers. And today for this topic for creating connection, I have a special guest with me, Dawn Webb. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, OJ. So great to be here.
It's good to have you here. Speaking of connections, we've connected many, many years ago. I think we used to even be neighbors at one point. And talk about connections, it's like you're the person to connect with because we worked together on a few different projects through yourselves and through just you as a consultant. So tell us about Dawn Webb, about your connections and how you came to be with this new company that you started with consulting.
Thank you, OJ, for this opportunity. You know, as we look at communication and connecting, it's all about the relationship and it's all about the communication. And I'll never forget when I met you for the first time, it really was like you stepping out to say hello. And I think you do that in every area of your life, just to communicate with others a message that lifts them up. And just like you said in the scripture, it's edifying. It's never harming them with words, but giving them great words to walk in grace.
It's funny. My parents, my grandmother, one of her famous things that she used to say, if you ain't got nothing good to say, don't say nothing at all. Just shut your mouth. It's like, and a lot of people should apply that to their life. I know I do. If I don't got nothing good, I'm definitely not a judge, so I don't judge people. But I'm constantly looking for ways to help somebody. You know, it reminds me when I started in business and the tree business that is, and I didn't have the dump trucks and the gravel trucks that I have today, and had to go to the dump. I always have to pull all this stuff off my truck or the trailer by hand, and I would see these dump trucks and stuff come in, and I'm like, man, you know. And I had my little choice words, you know, and God had to correct me from, I used to say, man, I'll never be able to afford one of those trucks. And one day I said that, and the Spirit said, you keep thinking and talking like that, you never will. And so I changed that thought, but I said that to say this, no one ever helped me at all. Like I had to pull this stuff off by hand. So it was a process. And so now when I go into those same dumps with one of my gravel trucks, especially my big gravel truck, and I see somebody struggling to pull stuff, I don't help everybody because I don't have time to, but I'll see an older person or something, the Spirit says, help that person. I'll pull up next to him with my gravel truck and I'm like, move out of the way. And I'll take my gravel truck and unload their load. It's like, man, let me pay less. No, it's already paid in full, brother. God told me to help you, so you've been helped today. And so those are some of the things that you try to do, not to boast or brag, but you want to help people. You know, everybody has what's wrong with the world, but not too many people have a solution to help. And so, go ahead.
No, absolutely. And just what you said, it's how we think. It starts with how we think. So if we think that we can't, we probably won't. If we think we can and connect with that, then our mouth then speaks it. And then everything flows from our heart. So that generous spirit of helping others comes from that spirit in your heart that connects. And every human being on the earth is created to connect. Yes. So every business, every individual, they have the power to connect and communicate and build relationships. And that's in business, but also in personal. Yeah. I mean, 1 in 5 Americans right now struggle with mental health issues. and 75% aren't even reporting their depression or anxiety because they don't want to be labeled. And this is a big personal project that I really want to get engaged in, is looking how people think, how they see, and what they believe. Because that will take information. We have so much information. Yes. There's so much information out there. People want transformation, not information.
Yes, this is true. This is very true. Now, I'm asking this because I want to know, like, when you get that data, like, that you just spoke, like, where do you find that type of information so we can get to the transformation? Like, how do you, because there's so much information that's out there, and people, they'll state something and there's like, well, man, I'd like to see that. So if somebody's listening, it's like, I would like to look this up with mental health, where can they go?
Well, I am going to do some coaching series,
okay,
as well as really looking at identifying things, the awareness. So I am going to drop some blogs, some podcasts. So I'm super excited. Once again, that whole acceptance in our culture, whether it's business or individual, because really every business is created with people. So when we look at people and their current struggles, as businesses, that is our number one goal, is to solve a problem that somebody else currently is struggling with.
Yes.
So when I look at how we connect that, like Messages in the Moment was birthed because my brother had passed away with a heart attack, and it was instant, and it was on Christmas Day. And so I didn't want to look at the message as hurtful, even though I miss him dearly. The message in that moment was that every day is a gift, and how we connect with our message, not out of judgment, shame, guilt, past mistakes. That's in business or personal. Like how we connect with the messages in this given moment. Are we present with those, or are we forming things in our mind that's really not the truth? So that's kind of my mission. There's all kinds of stats and research out there. Once again, how we think, but also how we see things, the perspective. If we were trained to always look at what's wrong with somebody or something, we know what happens. That alignment leads down a trail that's not productive. But if we look at through the lens of you with your pole saw out there, versus looking at a truck and saying, wow, I want one of those. How can I get in clarity and alignment in the path to drive one of those one day? And now you have a whole fleet. So it's amazing how God will even reveal as you changed your thoughts and your thinking to where you are now, and the miracle that you are now, to share with everyone, to see that if someone says that it can't be done until you experience it and walk in your shoes, and you're here to share that with us. So it's exciting.
I'm sure my listeners heard me say this before. One of my favorite books is by Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. And people immediately think it's about money. You need to read the book, because it's not about the money. It's a byproduct of thinking and grow rich, not just in your finances, but in your health. Because what's the point of being rich if you have bad health? So it correlates with what I was just think and grow. And it says, as a man thinketh, as a man thinketh, so is he. So if you think you're rich, you are mentally, physically, and spiritually. If you think you're healthy, you are. He also says, let the rich say I am. He says, let the weak say I've been strong. You get on that road with riches and it wants to come out and says, let the weak say that I am strong. Yeah. And And this is how we get there as creators. I mentioned this a while back. I have a painting or picture on my wall. It says, life is not about finding yourself. It's about creating. And we are creators of our own destiny. One of my favorite movies is The Never Ending Story, because every day we get to rewrite or create that story or that life that we want. So right here, right upstairs, because this is where it starts. Right here, you get to cast down the negative thoughts, and it's just so amazing that the power that we possess, and that thing between our teeth called the tongue is like, once you speak it, good, bad, or indifferent. They hear me say that a lot. It's, it can come to pass. So we're intentional about how we think and the way we try to move forward, and we continue to move forward. But I have a question. As a consultant, I know you have a background in sales, and you're pretty good at all of it. I've seen you grow over the years, just as a mother and from a business aspect, but your newest business as a consultant. What do you see as far as consulting with businesses? One thing that can help somebody that's listening, that's trying to start a business or contemplating on, I want to have my own business. What can you say to them from what you see from working with businesses that can help them?
Absolutely. Creating your message is the very first opportunity for you to see how you're going to serve other people, whether you have a donut stand and you want to provide for them a special treat on the way to work, like there is, or if you have a lawn service and you're out there preparing the lawns of their homes. When you think about the alignment, so as a consultant, the alignment of your message. So your message isn't your product or your service. Your message is how you align with solving your customer's problem.
Yes.
And that it's very defined. So you can target specific messages to expand your business. Or if you're creating a business, having that foundation of your message is so important. So I work with helping them create a message, helping them to capture a message. So they don't have a marketing team, a sales team, and they need to put an active package together to have photography, website, all of the different communication tools. Because what I notice is a lot of service-driven businesses, they don't possess those tools or skills, and they have no idea. They think it's too expensive to receive.
Yeah.
And then the third is to capture it, document it, and never forget it. And that process of your message is, if you have something to speak, just as we are here right here on the podcast, is that you're going to have that as a business owner to share at multi-platforms. So social media, all the different outlets. So everyone's real clear of how you're going to serve them.
So I don't know if you remember this or not. I think it was like a few years ago. I think you were still in the car financing. And I wanted to help one of my employees. And you asked, I was like, I want to help this guy get a car. How can we get him financing? It's like, I'll do the down payment. He was like, well, how is his credit? How is this? You start asking me these questions. And he's like, well, if I were you, I really would be careful. This person don't have good credit. They don't have this. And then a light bulb popped off. I'm like, Dawn is absolutely right. I'm trying to help a person that don't want to help themselves. And that's the key. He's like, I'm trying to go all in to help this person that has bad credit, that has no interest of, I want it more for this person than they want it for themselves. And the light turned on. I was like, there's nothing I can do to help him. I can't finance, I can't help him because that's not what he wants. And just like God meets us right where we're at, sometimes our ability to want to help people, but we only can meet them where they're at. And and that message that day resonates today, resonates it like today, like when I go to try to help somebody, I remember those words. I like, wait a minute, I take a step back and I ask those questions. I think, where you at with your credit score? Where we at with this? I said, well, you're not ready for this. Like, and then they'll say something crazy. Well, how am I supposed to do this? I mean, you have to figure it out. God bless you with 2 feet. You get the bus service. You can buy yourself a bike, but you have to put yourself in that position. Like, I believe in helping people, but you only can help them as much as they want to help themselves, because you give a person a set of crutches and you're always going to have to give them a set of crutches. And so I'm learning that more and more. My heart sometimes hurt because I want to help a person. I'm like, can't you see? And I can imagine God the same way with us. He looks, he wants to help us. And he's like, I gave them the power that's inside of them and they don't even realize it. And sometimes he has to do things dramatically to get our attention, whether it's a car accident or electrocution or what, and it becomes a part of our story. And so I have to be careful because sometimes the nature, you just want to fix. And you just, hey, just listen, stop doing it, just relax. It's here, it's here. Like you can take whatever medicine that's out there, you can get on and listen to 1,000 podcasts. You can go to every motivational summit, but it's in here. And that's what I learned. It's like, and the reason I do this, because I want people to understand, hey, look, it's here. Yeah. Don't look at the building. Don't look at the material things God has blessed me with to run this business. We can look at the professional athletes, and you have the ones that everybody likes, ones that people don't like. But when you look at some of the greats, it's here. Because not only does it get you to where you be, the things that you want in life, but it has stay power. Like, you're not a fly by night. You don't just, there's no end to it because it's inside of us. And then when you meet people, like we've met each other in the past, like you keep those people. We don't talk every day on the phone, but we talk maybe a few times a year, and it's not just like a 2-minute conversation. Hey, just call and check on you. It turns into a 45-minute to an hour conversation that is catching up and encouraging, iron sharpening iron to get us to our next step and to where we want to be at in life. And so my next question is, what is your next step in working within the community, in working with your next client? Like, give us part of your story.
Thank you for that, LJ. I grew up in a family that we all had to work together. So a family of 7, single mom, and started working at 14. I started my first small business at 21 with $893. But I had a partner that was right there with me. And now I truly understand what God means by 2 becoming 1. Mm-hmm. So when we actually have him guiding us, directing us through, and there may be listeners that's like, I don't know what my next step is, and I don't know where I'm at, and just have so many questions. I really want to encourage them that whether you're 14, just getting an idea that you want to start a business, or if you've been in business for 30 years, the connection and communication that you have from within is the most important. So your thoughts in alignment with, so from the thoughts to how you see, the eye is the lamp of your body. And LJ, I can see the light in your eyes, and that comes from within. So when you have truth that you want to live your life by, in business or personal, like every moment within our questions, because sometimes people ask us a question, we don't know the answer, so we'll dance around the question. And so for me, it's like God is always revealing at every age, small business or family. I think parenting as business owners is so important, that we understand how to see and hear and listen. Listening is a skill.
Yes,
it
it is.
really is. And that's that whole connection, and how we communicate and how we lift each other up in that connection, from neighbor to business owner to wherever you are spending your time, there's an opportunity for us to share. And it's all about serving each other, and not being anxious of like, I have to have this right now. Like, that awareness is so important for us, not to take on that pressure. Like, really seek and search the answers, and God always reveals them.
It's funny that you say that, because listening is a part of one of the cheat codes in life. Like, how do I do this? Like, listen. And you don't necessarily have to listen with your ears. You can listen with your eyes. I sat in a restaurant the other day to eat breakfast, and I'm very observant, and I'm getting ready to go, and I see the waitress. They're short-staffed, and the waitress, she's running around, and and so I'm very patient. Like, stuff don't bother me, but I'm seeing this couple in my peripheral vision. She just brought them their drinks. Then she went back. She grabbed their straws and she put it in her apron, and then everybody started asking her to do stuff. And so I looked at my watch, and so I'm looking at these people. And so the business side of me took over. I went up to the bar and grabbed 2 straws. I was like, man, she got busy. And I gave them their straws because they ready to drink their drinks. And she just, she didn't do it intentionally, but because of the business side of me and the help side of me wanting to help, I just jumped into action without even being asked. And so I don't know what happened, because I left a few minutes later. I guess by the time she came back with the straws, she was like, oh, I never brought, I didn't. There was something I could do. I don't think it was going to kick me out the restaurant for bringing straws to one of the customers. I was listening with my eyes. And so I'm looking, and I see the smile went to, like, where's our straws at? I was like, and so I did what I could do in that moment to help. But again, listening is like a cheat code. Like, God gave us these senses: our eyes, our nose, our taste, our ears, and we can listen in all those different capacities if we want to. And life is not hard. It's like the power of that tongue, the use of our eyes and ears, we can make a difference within, because it's here.
Yes. In renewed minds, and getting the lies off of us is the biggest thing. Is limited beliefs, like people really not understanding that they can walk in truth and spirit. Yes. That it's not just that's generational things that's happened in their life. They think that it may prevent them from moving forward in their life. Fear is a big one. I mean, 365 times the Lord said, do not fear. But why is fear running a lot of the shows? Yep. And why is fear running the news stations? So we remain in the truth, and the truth sets us free as we renew our minds. Then now we have power, because we now know who we are and who He is. And that is the most important gift that you can ever have as a human being, because God created us, both male and female, to be in His image and likeness.
This is true. It's like, people they'll listen, they hear us, they'll be able to see us on camera, And either they want that peace or they'll say, oh, that's impossible. And it's not. And the thing I want to say, and I always say, is, listen, am I perfect? Absolutely not. And I think you touched on it a minute ago. It's like, it's renewing your mind every day. It's like you have to get up, and sometimes you're going to eat 1 square meal. They suggest that we have 3 square meals a day. We try to eat healthy as possible. And I'm guilty of all of that. I don't eat 3 square meals a day. I fast a lot. And when I do eat, I don't always eat as healthy as I should. I try to make good practices of eating healthy. I eat more healthy than more times than not. But there's just some days, it's a junk food day. There's some days I get upset, but I'm trained enough where I don't lose it, where I'm just this person that's angry or cutting people off in traffic. That's just not my personality. But do I get frustrated in traffic? Absolutely. Do I do something about it? Absolutely not. I may think it in my mind, but that's it. And I know that I can't let my thoughts take over. I'm like, you know what? It's not even worth it. And I have to rationalize through it so I don't find myself in a place of doing something that I shouldn't do. And that just comes with practice. You become better, you become wiser. And once you're wise, it becomes easier. So I said that because sometimes people look, oh, they got it all together. They don't understand. Trust me, we grew up broke. We grew up I didn't always have this mindset or mentality, and they teach you as you start to grow and get wiser. You don't focus on how you used to be. You reflect on it to realize you ain't trying to go back.
Yes.
And once you do that, then it becomes easier. But I say this to my listeners, I say this to you, I'm not perfect. I'm going to make mistakes. And because if I was able to be perfect, there would be no need for Christ to die for our sins. And he died for our sins for one purpose, because we're incapable of being perfect. And that's the truth. And so because when we understand and know that, it takes the pressure off the shoulders. Like, you know what? We're going to enjoy life as it comes. If we fall, we're going to fall forward. We just talked about this in a later episode. You fall forward because it's still progress. And with this progress, you get to continue moving forward. That's what gets us to our goals. That's how we get to where we want to be at in life. Connections. If people wanted to connect with you, so they can have a business consultant come in, how would they do that, Ms. Doc?
They can visit me online at messagesinthemoment.com. They could email me at support@messagesinthemoment.com. I will definitely communicate direct with each one that would reach out to me, whether it's just a consultation or an interest in something specific that you want to do, or if you really want to build a foundation of messages and capturing those messages in your business because you don't have a marketing team, or you need to include something new to expand your business, I would love to serve you.
Okay, that's good to know. And I appreciate you being on the show, sharing your wisdom, your knowledge. It's always refreshing to find like-minded people, and as we try to navigate through life, you try to surround yourself with people that's headed in the right direction, that's on the right track, and there's no train in the tunnel of it. It's you try to find those little niches, and most importantly, people or books or the right messages. Sometimes I had a buddy, I'm not going to say your name, I know you're listening, but I'm going to say he'll listen to some different podcasts, and I think you can't believe all this stuff that people say all the time, because they'll say some stuff with no backing or what foods you should or you shouldn't eat, and it's just no merit. I was like, man, I can't even really respond to that, because it's a waste of time and energy, because of the fact that you have to know your own truths. Like what's good for me today wasn't good for me yesterday. What was good for me yesterday is not good for me today. So as our body changes and we grow older, we have to have our finger on the pulse. And so just because something works for this person might not work for that person. So I'm cognizant of that. So I'm careful what I say to people. Listen, whatever I say to you, please fact check me. This is not outside of the Bible. You can't fact check that. You can do all you want to. The Bible is the most perfect word that you're going to read. But for as books and material, as I get information, I try to use wisdom as I share it. Not that it's the gospel, not that it's something that you imperatively have to do. It's not. The things that I share is the things that help me get me to this point, which I think is an electrified life and abundant life. I have a beautiful family. God has blessed with me. I have a beautiful wife, and I'm very grateful for that. So I'm sharing the nuggets, the meat and potatoes that help me get there. And so, am I politically correct, as they say? Who knows? I'm just saying the stuff that I share is things that help me get to where I'm at today. Thank you for being on the show. I really appreciate you, Miss Dawn Webb. And I wish you the best of luck, and we'll continue to communicate. I'm sure people reach out to you, and I'm just very grateful for you being on the show. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. You can visit us on Facebook. You can visit us on ljtucker.com. Remember, live your electrified life. Don't stress, be blessed.